Hey everybody, it's Brian, and in this video I'll be giving you my final overview of my gaming PC that I made about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I made a couple of upgrades that I haven't shown you in video or anywhere else yet, so I'll go ahead and show you these, or I'll go ahead and show you those upgrades in this video. And then I will go ahead and show you some of the other components, give you a tour of my cable management setup and things like that. And I guess that will wrap up the PC build series for now. I might do some gaming benchmarks upon request, but there are probably a lot of those already using a similar setup as mine. So let me go ahead and move my camera and show you the inside of the computer. So first let me give you a tour of the front of the computer. Here we have the light on DVD burner, and here we have my USB stick for my keyboard and mouse. Now on the front, reposition myself. It's sort of hard working down here, but we have a USB 2.0 port on the front, audio in and out. We also have a USB 3.0 port. We have our power and hard drive LED indicators, eSATA port, reset button, power button, and we have our $9 memory card reader. Of the components, I think that this is one of the better deals. It was like $9 on Newegg and it works perfectly. We have a USB 2.0 port that I'm using right now for the audio recording for this video. I have my microphone plugged in through this port and everything seems to work just fine. All the slots work. The SD card slot definitely works because that's the one I've been using the most. Also on the front we have a sort of, I don't know how to call this basic design, but anyway, you can see through here there are areas for 2 fans on the front, so those are intake fans. It came with one with blue LEDs on it, and I also have the option to add a second one if I'd like. Now moving up at the top, you can see inside of the case a little bit. Here we have a large fan with blue LEDs on it, so that's nice. That's an exhaust. It's blowing some of the warm air through the top of the computer. On this side we have a little hot swappable SATA 6 3 gigabit per second drive, so you can put your 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch drive in one of the bays, slot it in here whenever you'd like, and you're good to go. So right now I'm way down under my desk, and you can see through some of the left side of the case. Here we have a new cooler that I haven't shown you yet. That's one of the upgrades that I made to my build. Now on the side of the case there is an area if you'd like to add a side intake fan. I think it's an intake, don't think it's an exhaust fan. So you have the option to put a fan there if you'd like. Now of course, like most cases nowadays, they use thumb screws on the back to take the side panels off. So I'm going to go ahead and take the screws off for the right side panel real quick. Now I can hear the fans in the computer going up and down based on whatever's happening on the computer. So not sure if my mic's going to be able to pick that up on camera or for the video. So before I take the side panel off to give you a closer look at the inside, let me go ahead and show you some of our I/O connections on the back. Not sure how well you can see them, but actually let's just go ahead and screw this. But the front of the computer has the USB 3.0 port as I mentioned, and there's a pass-through cable going all the way out of the back of the case into the USB 3.0 slot on the back of the MSI Z68A GD80 motherboard. Here we can see the 2 antennas for my Wi-Fi card, and here we can see the DVI output for the MSI N560 GTX TwinFrozr II /OC card. It's not the TI edition, but it's just the regular GTX 560, so it is slightly overclocked from reference speeds, so this is still plenty fast. And there's always an upgrade option in the future if I'd like to use a second GTX 560. That's definitely an option. 2 GTX 560s are still very fast, so that's a good way to go. Can't really move my camera around anymore, so I'm just going to leave it like that. And you can see that there's only 2 external cables plugged into the computer, the power cable and the DVI cable that's going out to my monitor. That's all I really need. Since I'm using Wi-Fi, I don't need to plug in an Ethernet cord or anything else like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take the side panel off to give you a closer look at the inside. And of course the computer is on right now because it is recording the audio track for this video. So in the back you can see that we have the MSI Z68 GDA motherboard. It's using Intel's latest Z68 chipset. That gives you a couple extra features, such as the ability to use the integrated GPU on your Sandy Bridge processor, as well as using a dedicated GPU. And it also gives you the ability to use Intel's Smart Response technology. Now, if you want a more closer look at what you can get in the box and a more specific overview, you could go over to the unboxing video that I made for the motherboard. So one of the upgrades that I made to my build is a different CPU cooler. Of course, I think if you saw my video, I was using a stock cooler. I then upgraded to a Ultra Carbon X7 CPU cooler. That one did okay, but it's not that good, so I upgraded to the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Plus. So, does very well. Sort of vibrating around a little bit, so I'll have to adjust that from the, I think there's some spacers I could put in for the fan. So anyway, we do have two 4GB RAM modules. These are G.skill Ripjaws X RAM sticks, so it gives me a total of 8 gigs. You can see that the overall cable management is very nice despite using a non-modular power supply. Most of the unused cables are being routed between the left side panel and the motherboard backplate, so that's able to hide all the unused cables and keeps everything clean down here in the main area. As you can see, it's very clean. Pretty proud of my cable management on my first build. Some of the cables are plugged in into the, or they're not plugged in, they're just pushed over into the empty drive bays. Here we have the 1TB Seagate Barracuda 6 gigabit per second 7200 RPM hard drive, and the 60 gig OCZ Vertex 2 is back there. Here we can see the MSI GTX 560 non-TI TwinFrozr II OC edition. So it uses MSI's TwinFrozr II cooler. Let me give you a closer look at the fans themselves. There they are. I did go ahead and overclock this just a little bit. I think the core is like 925. I had to increase the voltages just a little bit so that the overclock is stable. Plenty of room for expansion. There's two more PCI Express 16X slots. So, like I mentioned, if I want to use a secondary GTX 560, which is probably the best upgrade option I can make, then that's definitely an option. Speaking of upgrades, I upgraded the CPU from the Core i5 2500K over to the Core i7 2600K. I have it overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz, and the overclock is, so far it's stable. I ran a Prime 95 test for about 45 minutes and it was fine. I will run one overnight and see how it goes, but I think that my overclocking setup is pretty fine. Temperatures are acceptable. Under load through Prime 95, the max temps are probably 72 degrees Celsius. So, pretty respectable temperatures at 4.5 gigahertz for my Core i7 2600K. And I am using the Cooler Master Hyper 212 CPU cooler, as you can see there. Down here we have the Rosewheel Extreme Edition 750 watt 80 plus power supply. This is not modular, so a bunch of unused cables sitting here. I wrapped some of them up. Some of them I had to push behind the plate, as I mentioned earlier. And you know what? I think that is it with the build. Oh wait, right there you can see the Wi-Fi card just sitting there in the PCI Express 1X slot. So very nice card. It works perfectly. It's nice and fast. Great signal through I have a great connection to my router, which is way on the other side of the house, so that's good. But that is about it with my overview on my finalized PC. So I'm pretty much using this computer for video editing, of course, and gaming, obviously. So I do have my MSI GT680R gaming laptop. I'm using that for gaming on the go, as well as, you know, all my mobile stuff whenever I need to. That's also my general work computer, so all my Microsoft Office stuff, as well as all of my email and web browsing. Most of that is done on the laptop still. Also at the top of the case, I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you can see that there's another slot for another fan if you'd like to add one there. So, you know, for this case was only like 60 bucks, so this case offers plenty of cable management options, Has some water cooling features available too, and there's also plenty of room for an extra fan. So I guess that about wraps up my PC build series, video series. It was nice. This was a pretty good experience building my first desktop computer. I love it. This computer is very fast, and I just need to thank MSI for sending the motherboard over. Again, it's the MSI It's the MSI Z68A GD80 motherboard, and they also sent me the video card, which is the MSI GTX 560 TwinFrozr II OC edition. So that saved a good bit of money, and everything is great. Everything works perfectly. Temperatures are cool. Everything is just perfect. So yeah, I mean, building the desktop was fun. I like it. It was worth it. And to be honest, I don't see myself buying a manufactured computer ever. Building a computer is always fun. It's a good experience for everybody. You learn a lot through the process, and it was just really fun. So I'm thinking about building a media center PC, you know, a little shuttle style computer I could just put over near the TV in the living room and use that for all the media stuff, for movies, recorded TV shows and things like that. So might be doing that one in the future, but for the time being, that pretty much wraps up my video series on my PC that I built. I will be doing gaming videos upon request, so if you want to see how some games perform, then let me know. I don't have Crysis or Battlefield Bad Company 2. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can leave them down below in the comments area. So thanks a lot for watching this video series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it inspired some of you to go ahead and build your own computer at one point in your lives. So that's about it with the video. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all soon.